Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. Once again, I am your host, Josh Lilquist. In the last segment, we covered why proper education with your career is actually very similar to investing. Think about your career that you have right now. You didn't just go and do your job and didn't get trained on it, or maybe even didn't go to school and get some education on it. You learned that skill, whatever that may be, whether you're in the trades, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in accounting, or engineering, whatever that career that you have is, you were trained on how to do that. Unfortunately, you've been led to believe that investing is different. That investing is different where you can just go and open an account and put money in it and buy something and hope it goes up and cheer when it goes up, and when you cheer louder, it goes up higher. Well, that's not the case. You have to have some proper education. You have to learn about the techniques and strategies about everything in your everyday life. The same thing applies to investing, and that's why we have these investing classes that we have here at the Academy. We have these classes here in Bloomington to get started, also in Edina, Maple Grove, Wayzata, to help you get started in these markets and learning the techniques and strategies that the institutions are using on a daily basis that are also available to us. So simply to come into one of these free investing classes, seats are limited, so if you call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. That's call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975, and we'll get you 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend, to one of our investing classes. Al teaches these, I teach these as well. We have a great time, and bring your questions in with you. If you have income strategy questions, like what can you do differently? Say you have a great job and you're doing well and you're a busy person. How do you apply this to your everyday life and not have to change your life? Just add this into it. I mean, there's ways and techniques to do that based on time frames that you use on price charts. And that's what we'll talk a little bit about here probably in the last segment, but maybe in this segment as well. But we appreciate the people that are coming into these classes and have an open mind just to hear what's actually available, because they're tired of doing the same thing over and over. We do also appreciate all the subscribers on the podcast. If you missed part of the show, just go to Investing and Trading Live on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe. We do a market update almost daily to give you the updates on what's happening in these financial markets. So Al, with this segment here, I believe you wanted to get into and explain some of these different assets, as far as whether you're looking for an income strategy or if you're looking to do different things in your 401ks or your IRAs if you direct them yourself. What are some of those assets that are available to people, but why might they be maybe even a little bit better than just investing in stocks or mutual funds?
Well, I think 2 goals that most people have and that we try to help our students achieve. One is to help you increase your returns, and the other is to help you protect and utilize more beneficially the most valuable asset you have, and that's your time. So we try to simplify things so this does not take a lot of time. Once you learn the proper strategy, it takes this minutes to put something together. So don't feel you have to sit in front of a computer when we talk about something other than that long-term type of strategy that Wall Street puts you in. We're talking about options. Options is a contract that you trade on something like a stock. It allows you with a small amount of money to control something that might otherwise be out of reach for you. For example, if you want to trade, let's say you want to have a full position in Apple stock, which is now trading over $200 a share.
About $213 a share.
Yeah, so you're looking at over $21,000 in one position. With an option, it's potentially available to control that same 100 shares for maybe under $1,000. Could be $500, $600, $700. So you have the opportunity with a smaller amount of money to participate in the movement of something that's high priced.
And we'll show you how that action actually works in these investing classes.
Yeah, it's pretty tough in a short segment here to go over that, but just understand that options, futures, and Forex allow you to control something much larger than your actual portfolio with less risk if you do this properly and with greater returns. What I want to talk about is one of the fallacies that people have bought into, and that's that you're in this for the long run. Wall Street advisors pretty much are trained to tell you, let's put a portfolio together and you just hold on to it for decades and don't worry about corrections or crashes. We hear this all the time, and people come in and they say, I'm okay with that because if I have a loss, I know the market will come back. Well, what's the fallacy there? What's the problem with that? Well, it could be that the point at which you get into something can determine whether you run out of money in the future or whether you have a lot of money in the future. Wall Street will say you need to get, if you go into an advisor, the advisor will say you need to get this money in the market now. Don't worry about the price. Don't worry about what you're paying. It's time in the market that's important.
And that's how we buy and sell everything in our everyday life, isn't it?
Yeah, not quite.
Total opposite,
So
isn't it?
what I want to talk about, the fallacy there, is something called sequence of return risk. That's the risk that a stock market or whatever asset you're invested in will have a large drawdown at the wrong time, either prior to or in retirement. And it can determine whether you run out of money in retirement or not. Here's an example. Let's take two couples. Both couples have $1 million, and they both retire when they're 65, and they take out $60,000 a year. One person puts their investment together in the year 2000. Their advisor said, hey, let's just get this money in there. That couple who started with $1 million in the year 2000 runs out of money in 2014. They're broke 14 years later. Mm-hmm. The other couple retired in 2003 with the $1 million, taking $60,000 out. They both invested in the S&P 500, yet that couple, because they invested at a better time, they didn't go through a big drawdown like the first couple did. In the year 2024, not only are they not broke, but they have over $1,700,000 left in their retirement accounts.
So timing is important.
Timing is critical. You have to be able to time the proper time to get into the market.
And that was just a 3-year difference when they got in the market, isn't
Exactly.
it? Total difference, and it was
can
not
be
that
even
much
a
time.
year. It could be a year. It can be 6 months. But if you don't pay attention to the right time to get into something, then you have that potential to not have money when you need it when you go into retirement. So how do you do that? Well, you do it by finding out what the people that move the market are doing. When are they getting in? When are they getting out? And if you can trade right along with them, you have the opportunity to not go through those big drawdowns. When Wall Street tells you don't worry about a correction or a crash, that's the worst advice they can give you. It might take, and you know what, in a way they're right, the market always comes back. But what if it takes 5 years or 10 years? What if you retire at 65, 50% of your assets are gone like they were in the year 2000, in the year 2007 to 2009? 50 to 57% of your assets are gone. You're 65, and they tell you it'll take, don't worry about it, in 20 years you'll have that money back. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, so you're 85, you're getting ready to enjoy your retirement. And that's only if you don't take any money out and there's no fees being charged and inflation is zero.
What's really interesting there, just listening as you were describing that, when people are hearing that from their money manager, it makes total sense. Markets come back, and they always do, which they actually are designed to.
Sure.
But if you have the wrong timing, that could impact your future tremendously.
Well, you know why people do it? Because it's easy.
It's easy, yes.
They don't have to worry. They don't have to think about things. And you know what? Here's something else I think that is...
It's easy to run out of money.
It's easy to run out of money. It's easy to not do anything. And now you have somebody to blame. Mm-hmm. You say, well, my advisor told me to do this. You know, maybe I'm broke now, but I listened to what they said. Do you think they're going to make up for what you lost during that time period? No.
I have a solution for that.
Let's hear it.
And that solution is put a little effort into it, right? Yeah, yes, I mean, it may sound harsh saying this, but it does take a little bit of effort to do things differently.
Yeah,
and
anything worthwhile?
Correct, but I think a lot of our listeners are very ambitious. We've had a lot of really good people that have came into these investing classes that have been listening to the show. They are ambitious, so I would say the majority of our listeners are ambitious. But here's the problem, and here's the solution. The problem is they don't do anything different because they don't know how to get started. Here's the solution. We have an investing class coming up here in Bloomington on how to get started in the financial markets, how to do it safely, how to do it confidently. Because if you don't know where to start, you will do nothing. That's just natural. That's what naturally people will do. So I want to inspire people. I know you have the ambition. I know you don't know what to do to get started, and I'm going to inspire people to get started by coming to one of these investing classes. By the way, they're free, so I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. Yes, it takes a little bit of time and effort. So simply to come into one of these investing classes, to learn how to do things maybe a little bit differently, you can call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. That's call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. And that's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend, for an investing class on how to get started if you're brand new, if you don't know how to get started, or if you have a great career, have a great 401k, you've saved a lot, but the returns just aren't what you need. Come into one of these classes and see what you might be able to do differently. Call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. Also, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to Investing and Trading Live on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Al, we got a lot more to cover here on this next segment here, so stay tuned. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.